All right, nerds, we have some movie news to get to. Before we do, just a real quick reminder, this is the movies section that comes from a much longer video that is up on the main channel. That much longer video is referred to as The Weekend Nerddom. I do it once a week. Every Wednesday it goes up approximately at Generally Nerdy on YouTube or Generally Nerdy on Rumble, wherever you so desire. But while you're here, let's talk about all of this movie news, shall we? Movies, baby! We got movies to talk about. We have some follow-ups. We got Rebel Moon and Star Wars in the follow-ups. Pretty big Star Wars thing going on in the movies. Then we have Gears of War also in follow-ups, and The Legend of the White Dragon. You're going to want to stick around for this because it's actually really, really cool. And then we've got other things going on in the other subsections, but really this is all about the follow-ups, so let's get into that. Follow-ups for movies. We have Rebel Moon. Rebel Moon, Zack Snyder has confirmed that this is not just going to be a moon. That ain't no moon, at least not just a moon. It is going to be a universe. There is comic books planned. There are video games planned. This just might out Star Wars. I know I'm not the first person that's said that, but there is the big issue here, the big issue when anyone tries to do what Snyder is trying to do is proper integration, because a lot of the people who are going to watch the movie, and because it's on Netflix, that's a whole lot of people who wouldn't have otherwise gone to the theater. Because it's streaming, it's easier. You're going to have a lot of people watch the movie. There's also potential plans for a number of series, not the least of which at least one animated series he's alluded to as well. So very likely you'll get people who watch the movie. And then if another movie happens, they'll watch the next movie, but they're not going to do any of the filler stuff. So the big thing is, how do you push people to watch the series that's associated with it? How do you push people to read the comic book that's planned? How do you push people to play the game that's planned? It's going to be an RPG. He said it very explicitly. It's going to be an RPG that the developers he's talking to, he did not say specifically what development house he's going to for the development of the game, but whoever it is has said that there is going to be a lot of development time included in this because it's going to be huge. So a huge game, lots of development. The movie comes out soon-ish. I didn't put down the exact date because I take amazing notes, all right? So the movie's coming out soon-ish. Again, going to be on Netflix, so it's probably going to get a fair amount of people watching it. I would venture we will get at least 2 movies in the Rebel Moon universe, maybe even one series out of this. But beyond that is a giant gamble, because again, how do you get people to want to do the filler stuff? And how do you also make the big tentpole pieces big enough that people understand the story still, even if they didn't fill in with the series and games and such? So very big order on Zack Snyder's plate, but he seems up for the task. As more comes out about this, we will be talking about it, but that's just huge. Let's move on. Next in follow-ups, we have the Star Wars piece that I talked about at the beginning of the section. Damon Lindelof, the all but secret Star Wars movie he was working on, now has been called into question. His future with the franchise seems to be non-existent. Everyone is reporting that he has officially left. Again, because this is based on the rumored existence of this movie, we cannot confirm 100% that he has gone. But he made statements that have alluded to such things in the very near past, or the very recent past, rather. So, yeah, Star Wars Celebration happens in April. It's in the UK. We will know a whole lot more about a lot of situations once that happens, so stay tuned for that. Next, Good Burger. This is a confirmation of rumor. Good Burger 2 is officially happening. I saw one outlet say the surprise existence of a sequel to Good Burger. It's not really a surprise. The rumor mill has been churning with this one for some time. So Good Burger 2 is happening. Production is set to begin in May, and the movie potentially could be released sometime this year, sometime 2023, because probably a relatively low budget. Not a whole lot of post is going to be needed for a silly teen comedy or a follow-up to a silly teen comedy. Don't know exactly the content of this movie, but Keenan and Kel both are going to be returning for it. It's going to be awesome. We're actually going to revisit that in a second in the regular ass news. But next we have an update on the Gears of War universe that's also going to be existing in the Netflix sphere of streaming. So John Spates, I believe is how you say that name, who is currently writing Dune 2, who was part of the writing team that gave us Dune 1, also works with Denis Villeneuve, and that's noteworthy in and of itself. He has been brought in to write the first movie of the Gears of War series, because we do know that Netflix plans on doing at least a number of movies for this, if not even an actual series as well. So yeah, pretty excited about that. John Spates, if his credits are anything to go on, and hopefully they are, Dune is part of his oeuvre of projects and one of the best movies to come out in the last 5-6 years. Maybe not saying much. One of the best movies to come out in 10-12 years. We'll say that because COVID kind of throws a wrench in things. So yeah, definitely excited about that. We have more. I told you it's going to all be mostly about follow-ups. We have more follow-ups. Next up is Gladiator 2. This is a casting announcement. Previously, we've reported that Gladiator 2 is actually happening. Russell Crowe is not going to be involved in the project. That's not the new piece. The new piece is Barry Keoghan. Keoghan? I think it's Keoghan. Barry Keoghan, who played the Joker in The Batman and has done a number of... He was in The Eternals, though nobody cares about that. He has been cast in the movie as Emperor Geta. Geta. I think it's Geta, who was a real emperor, but it is going to be a fictional story. So yeah, that's our real quick update there. And then the other one that I'm kind of super excited about is The Legend of the White Dragon. Jason David Frank's final movie is going to be released posthumously. And the big update here is that they are, in fact, getting a theatrical release for this. So this is done by Bat and the Sun. Bat and the Sun is a YouTube channel. They do great stuff. They do the Superpower Beatdown, where fans get to vote on, you know, Wolverine versus the Predator, who's going to win. And then they, like, make the thing happen. They film a live-action version of that. It's great. I love it. Yeah, so I kind of should have put that in the whatever. Either way, the White Dragon movie, Jason David Frank's final movie, because it was this movie that he was filming when tragically he took his own life. This movie is going to be getting a theatrical release. It sounds like it is going to be a relatively limited release in theaters. Think a la Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, so on and so forth. That's going to happen though, and I'm super stoked for it. There is no proper release date for this movie, nor any announcement as to where it is going to go once it does finalize, once they're done with it and they, you know, release it. So after it's in theaters, is it just going to go up on their YouTube channel? Is it going to get picked up by maybe a Netflix or something? All of that very much remains to be seen, though we do know that it is they're shooting for a fall window of release. So as we get more details, we would definitely be covering this one. Oh, and Jason David Frank, for those that maybe know the name but don't know why, he was the Green Ranger in the OG Power Rangers in the States, and then has done a number of other things, but that's kind of the big one. Green Ranger, then turned into the White Ranger, then came back as a Red Ranger at one point, I believe. But yeah, Jason David Frank he was in a couple of Superpower Beatdowns. He played the White Ranger in White Ranger versus Scorpion, where I totally disagree with the outcome of that one. But anyway, yeah, that's awesome. Let's move to trailers. We got a new trailer from Netflix, new adorable kids movie called Chupa. Oh boy, April 7th is the release date for this one. It looks really cute, but wow, what an unfortunate title. If you speak Spanish, you know what I'm talking about. Oh, Chupa? Really? Chupa? Like Chupacabra, that's what you're trying to go for. Just name it Chupacabra, because the implication of the shortened version is not what you wanted it to be. Let's move on, though. Let's get into some regular-ass news. We got a couple of new, a couple of new movie announcements, kind of. First one is a legitimate announcement. It's called Dear Santa. It's going to be starring Jack Black. The Farrelly Brothers are going to be producing the movie, writing, directing the movie. Jack Black is presumably going to be playing, I'm sorry. Jack Black is going to be playing the devil who accidentally receives a letter intended for Santa because the kid doesn't know how to spell Santa, so he spells Satan and it gets sent to Jack Black's devil. And the hilarity ensues. I don't know what the tone of this that they're going for. Is it going to be like a comedy horror? Definitely going to be comedy of some sort because Jack Black, but is it going to be like family comedy? Being as he's the devil, it seems less likely to me, but who knows with Netflix anymore. But and honestly, I don't think this is a Netflix movie, so I don't know why I just said that. But either way, last time these guys got together, they brought us Shallow Hal, so yeah, I'm assuming something along those lines. But the other piece of regular-ass news we got is, speaking of Kenan and Kel and Good Burger, Mystery Men 2. Kel Mitchell and Ben Stiller. No, I'm sorry. Kel Mitchell and Hank Azaria are going to Ben Stiller to pitch a Mystery Men 2. Ben Stiller is not generally one to do sequels, and for good reason. Go watch Zoolander 2 and you'll see what I'm talking about. So it better be a good pitch, but it's just, we're putting that out in the ether because I think that would be a fun movie to get a sequel. This goes in line with the proposed sequel that we talked about previously for Dodgeball, which is another movie that people are trying to get Ben Stiller to make sequel to. And he's just pretty resistant to the idea these days. Again, go watch Zoolander 2 to know why. That's what we got for regular ass news. So let's talk movie suggestions for the week. Mortal Kombat 1995, the OG gaming, good gaming movie. The reason why people still hold out hope that potentially you can make a quality gaming adaptation is the 1995 Mortal Kombat movie. I remember this was honestly the first movie I ever personally saw multiple times in the theater. Pretty awesome. It's a little weird because it's based on a very mature rated game and there's very little, if any, blood in the movie, but still, the reason why people keep trying to make video game adaptations into movies is this one right here, because it was the first glimmer of hope that this is a possibility, and totally forget about the follow-up movie Annihilation because it's not worth anybody's time unless you are a dyed-in-the-wool Mortal Kombat fan. But yeah, go watch 95 for sure. Once again, nerds, that was a short section that comes from a longer video on the main channel, Generally Nerdy, YouTube or Rumble. Take your pick. I'm on both. You can go find it there. You can go find all of the other news there as well, including the live episode. We do a live episode roughly once a week, every Friday evening. You can join the conversation live, or you can just leave comments here on this one or any of the other ones you find on the Clips channel. Thank you very much, nerds. We've got other news to discuss in other videos, but while we're getting out of here, don't forget that if it's generally nerdy, it's probably here.